guys, welcome to our weekly Q&A. My name is Schepis.
Lyndon, Purcell.
And we're here to answer all your questions on training, nutrition and everything in between. And today we've got a question from...
Jessica Jacobs. Jessica asks... excellent surname. New maintenance, which we talk about during dieting phases. Mm-hmm. How do you know what that actually is if you've been dieting for a while?
It's a very good question.
Excellent question.
And let's talk about what happens when we diet.
Alright, let's do that.
Kick us off.
Alright, basically everything comes back to probably homeostasis within the body. The body loves to regulate itself and stay within just this short little range that gets likened to, you know, a certain speed limit or a thermostat within a house. Like your body loves to stay at, 30 degrees or whatever. Like, we've all found that like intuitively with ourselves. Like, you're always just like, oh, I sit around 65 kilos. No matter how hard I exercise and try and diet, I only get to about 62. And no matter how bad I eat, I only get to about 67. Like that's an indication of homeostasis occurring. Your body loves to stay within a certain range. When you diet and try to lose weight or gain weight, whichever way you do it, your body will try and push back. So when you're dieting, it will decrease your energy expenditure, like subconsciously. So things like slouching, you won't correct your postures more, you'll lean, you'll sit, you'll just choose all these activities, as well as there's also ones that occur that aren't choice dependent. So like protein synthesis and things like this will also be down-regulated. But basically, your body will down-regulate energy expensive processes. So that, in an attempt to conserve energy.
And that's additional to the fact that when you diet, you get lighter. And we know that in terms of our total daily energy expenditure, there are typically 4 components. There's our resting metabolic rate, our thermic effect of feeding, exercise, and then non-exercise activity thermogenesis, which is what Lyndon was talking about just then. So when we diet, all of these processes are coming down in an attempt to regulate homeostasis. But what actually happens when you lose weight is your body mass becomes smaller. And we know that body mass is the primary determinant of daily energy expenditure. So that's the first thing that brings your maintenance calories down when you're dieting. The second thing is the drop in non-exercise activity thermogenesis, like Lyndon was explaining, as well as all these other physiological processes in the body. Hunger increases, you become more lethargic and all the rest of it. So in terms of determining how much change is occurring in your calorie requirements to maintain your new body weight, it's very hard to tell.
Yeah, I guess it comes back to, so as Jacob sort of alluded to there, we normally use, say, like calorie estimations or calculators to try and determine things, because it's just, it's a good simple guess and a starting point. Yeah, exactly right. So hypothetically, Jacob's 80 kilos and we're trying to work out his maintenance calories. We might multiply 80 by 30, which will give us 2,400. It's probably a rough estimate of what he'll weigh. But then say we diet him down to 70 kilos and we're trying to work out his estimated maintenance there. Due to metabolic adaptations, which we just talked about, it might be a better idea to times 70 kilos by 28 or 29.
There's about a
10%. 10 to 15% is sort of being theorized currently about the capacity of metabolic adaptations.
Yeah, so which is the change additional to the reduction in your body weight based on those processes that we spoke about.
Yeah, exactly right. Supposed to get on what I was thinking.
But it is one of those things where you are going to have to play around with it. There's no hard and fast rules or magic formula or calculator that can tell you exactly your new maintenance calories.
Yeah.
If you are eating and tracking your food consistently and you're gaining weight, well, you're in a surplus. If you're losing weight, you're in a deficit. If you're maintaining weight, you've found your new maintenance.
Yeah, I guess.
It's really as simple as that. And doing that over the course of a week, assessing your body weight changes, and if there's no change, you've found your new maintenance calories, and then you can work out what you want to do from there, whether you want to go into a gaining phase, whether you want to start cutting again. But that would be my practical recommendation, outside of all of the estimations that we can make based on the calculators and what we know from the literature.
No, Jacob said exactly what I was going to say. Work out what your next phase is, and then potentially use that to determine sort of how you work out new maintenance. If you've just come off a diet and you're really trying to maintain low body weight for a certain amount of time, like when you talk about reverse dieting and that sort of thing, you could
Slowly
just
build
creep calories back up. But if you're a bodybuilder in their off season, they've just done a mini cut and then they're going to go straight back into massing. There's no sort of need to really just work out maintenance, then work out my surplus on top of that. They can just be like, you can also use the amount of weight that you lost, in the remaining weeks to sort of determine how much in a calorie deficit you were. Using 3,500 calories as a rough guide for being a pound of tissue. If you lost, if you lost a pound within the last week, you were probably in about a 500 calorie deficit per day. So if you're going straight back into massing, throw on 700 calories on top of that.
And if you want to go to maintenance, then you can add on 500.
Exactly right. Like if you're going into a massing phase, don't worry about trying to find maintenance straight away. Just throw some calories in, then watch your weight from there.
And that's the most important thing to take from all of this in terms of trying to find your maintenance, trying to find a calorie deficit or a surplus, is that you do need to track and assess over time. That's the best way, because at the end of the day, the human body is very dynamic. It changes to things a lot faster than we can predict and calculate. So the best bet is to actually track things and go from there. So we hope we answered your question, Jess. If you've got any further questions, comment below, and we'll see you guys next time.